It's one of those questions that you find yourself asking yourself every single day, which is what's for dinner? And sometimes you just want something that is quick, easy, simple, and that is where Chef Bo Byrne comes in. He's got a recipe for us today that is kind of a play on one people are familiar with, Marry Me Chicken, only you've got an even better name
That's
for
right.
yours.
Yes, my wife calls this He's Marry Chicken. and that's how we do this one. So this one, you start out the same way. I do chicken thighs instead of chicken breasts.
Yep.
So that's one of the changes that I do in mine. You want to get a good strong sear on both sides of the chicken, maybe about 4 minutes or so, and then just set it aside. It's going to come back into play in a little bit. So you're gonna start by sautéing up a little bit of some butter, and as it starts to melt, we're gonna add a little bit of some garlic into it as well.
Okay.
And this is going to become a roux, sauteed garlic in that melted butter. We're gonna add a little bit of some flour to it. And in the course of a few moments, this is gonna melt and come together and start to become a little bit thicker. Just for the sake of these purposes, we're gonna kind of move it along about 2 minutes or so of that process before you would then add your chicken stock.
Okay.
Cook that for about a minute or so, followed by the milk. And then some of this sun-dried tomato, which is the real kicker for this He's Marry Chicken. Okay, it's one of the main flavor components here.
It's right here.
So this is now, I'm just gonna kind of flip to now this pan here. So at this point, we've now let that roux cook, added the chicken stock, thickened it, added the milk, let that thicken, and now we've added some of the sun-dried tomato to it, and you can see how that milk has thickened just ever so slightly, and it looks fantastic like this.
Oh,
at this point, I like to add some cream cheese, and you gotta kind of break it up into smaller knobs like this.
Okay.
I find that if you do this, you'll have an easier time whisking it into the sauce.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just throw in one giant hunk, you're gonna kind of be fighting it. So in this way, I'll be able to kind of come through here, saute this down, give it a little stir.
And then it's like dispersed evenly.
Exactly.
Which is what you're looking for.
And then this just wants to continue to kind of simmer. And at this point in the sauce, you want to reintroduce this chicken from before. We seared these chicken breasts or chicken thighs. You could do breasts if you like, but these are the thighs. We're going to add a little bit of basil to the pan at this point, and make sure that you get these well coated. You might even do a slightly smaller pan so that you don't quite have so much surface area in between on these. And then this is going to finish cooking in about 5 minutes or so. It's going to just need a little bit of some Parmesan, fresh basil at the very end, and then we're going to be ready to plate. So what we have over here, we've got a finished version where these chickens continue to cook, which is what we now have here. We can bring these bad berries. Fantastic. And this is what we're going for. So those chicken thighs were reintroduced into that pan sauce.
Looks so good. Do you want both of these?
I'll do both of them, that'd be great. And then for this one, I like to do a little bit of pasta. I do something cooked al dente. You might do a rigatoni or a penne or something like a cavatappi. And in that idea, we're doing these campanelles. So,
these are pretty.
Yeah, these are kind of like those lasagna noodles that are twisted up like this, so they have a chance to kind of blanket and catch some of the noodle. So I think they're great for a sauce like this where you really want more of that He's Marry chicken cream sauce.
Exactly.
So we're just gonna get that back to a little steam. We already boiled it once. Take the chill off it, give it a little tap. We don't want any of that water to water down our finished product. But when I serve these, I like to do it as a fork and knife chicken. So I would serve these whole, these chicken thighs as they are. And then I would consider this dish when you go to do leftovers. Possibly you could dice up the thighs at that point and then add them to whatever's left over here for any of this pasta.
Yep.
And then it's a really simple pasta bake for lunch.
Yum.
It heats up fantastically in the microwave. Or you could do a baked ziti type.
Yeah.
And put a little bit of that sauce right on the pasta as well. And you don't have to dirty a pair of tongs, you know, in addition to a ladle and everything else. If you're just using one thing, that'll work for us.
Man.
Come back at it with a little bit of some fresh basil leaves, a little bit of some Parmesan. And there you have.
Look at that.
He's Marry Chicken. right here.
So good. So good. And shout out to your wife for that. That's a great name.
Yes, yes, all the credit in the world.
Oh, gosh. Well, thanks so much for coming in and making this for us. If you want to make it for yourself, just head to the 207 section of our website and app. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.